Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, and most of all, dear colleagues and fellow humanitarians. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all in Tallinn on the occasion of the second annual conference on macro trends in international humanitarian action. To those who were with us already last year, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. To those joining us for the first time, then you've been missing out. But it's still not too late to join. Therefore, welcome. As I started the conference last year, in a similar November grimness, Estonia is probably not the likeliest of places to be leading discussions on humanitarian assistance. We're not one of the diplomatic centers of the world, and neither are we the largest providers of humanitarian financing. Nevertheless, Estonia, through its vibrant civil society, our level of digitalization, and outside-the-box thinking, as well as having itself prior experiences as being the recipient of humanitarian assistance, Estonia has the potential to be the spearhead in innovating humanitarian assistance, as well as leading by example in providing lean and effective humanitarian programming. And this is the main purpose and goal of this conference, to discuss openly, honestly, the key topics related to this sector, to problematize and question, to look beyond and behind the buzzwords, and God knows we have many of them, and to learn through sharing of experiences and ideas. And also to bring these important topics to this small Estonian capital, which may not be the biggest in size, but is that much bigger in the size of ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's conference takes place in difficult times. Humanitarian needs have skyrocketed due to the renewed conflicts in Lebanon and Gaza, and severe conflict and crisis in Sudan, as well as continuing and long-term needs in Ukraine, in Yemen, in Syria, in Afghanistan, in DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, to name only some of the most severe crises in the world today. And at the same time, humanitarian financing is not keeping up with these needs, and the recent US elections may also result in further deterioration in that respect. All of this is coupled by the brazen return of war as a tool for political and ideological objectives. This was strongly signaled to us in 2022 by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and more recently by the ongoing hostilities in Lebanon and Gaza, where civilians and humanitarian workers are facing unprecedented risks due to what some have called the normalization of violence and disregard for the laws of war. International humanitarian law is not respected, and in response, multilateralism seems to be in crisis, and humanitarians are oftentimes faced to pick up the pieces. And our challenges do not stop there. The sector needs to keep up with the discussions and effects of climate change and the possibility of further conflicts sprouting from that. We must also keep up with the technological trends and innovations, constantly weighing the risks and opportunities to be able to distinguish the positive use cases from those which may cause further harm to the people we serve. And let's not forget that the technological innovation is also happening in warfare, posing new risks to the civilian populations as well as the humanitarian workers themselves. So we are entering uncharted waters, and when looking at the trends, I'm very much afraid that next year's conference's opening speech will sound just as grim as this one. But we have gathered here today in Tallinn not only to state the problems, but also look for solutions. And we have a list of distinguished guests joining us today who will be delving into these topics I have just mentioned. The day will be kicked off by Christina Bennett, the CEO of Start Network, who will provide a high-level overview of the state of the humanitarian sector today. And I'm very much hopeful that her inputs will be less grim than mine. After that, we will delve into the wonderful world of ethics. Are we, as humanitarians, well equipped to navigate between Skylla and Charybdis, between a rock and a hard place, to retain this delicate balance between gaining operational access on one hand and maintaining our core principles of neutrality and independence on the other? Or are the humanitarian principles and international humanitarian law, taken that they are often disregarded with impunity by warring parties, even relevant anymore? Well, we'll find out later today. After the panel on ethics, we will turn to anticipatory action. Another buzzword, you may say? Not really. As humanitarians, we tend to be reactive in the face of crisis. We respond to them when they happen and as they happen. But what tools do we already have in our toolboxes to anticipate and forecast crisis, to mitigate the effects that they have before they unfold? And in what ways could this be done in conflict settings in particular? And also, how does climate change come to play in all of that? After all, next week starts the annual UN Climate Change Conference, so our discussion is very timely on that respect as well. And finally, last but not least, we will discuss another buzzword, the one we almost hear daily nowadays, the infamous AI, the artificial intelligence. What are the use cases in this sector for AI? Be it improved data aggregation and analysis, or generation of funny cat videos, or realistic deepfakes. And beyond possibilities, what are the risks in the use of AI in humanitarian sector? And are we ready to put on the handbrakes on this AI train if the assessment on risks comes in negative? So, as you can see, there's a lot to discuss, and we only have this one day to discuss all of that. Therefore, without further ado, I will invite you to use this day to the fullest, to discuss, to think, and later on rethink matters relevant to making humanitarian action better, faster, and more effective. So I thank you, and I hope that you have a thought-provoking day.